do you have something in mind that you consider to be the most important lesson you've learned in gardening? If you had to pick one.
Pay attention to the soil.
That's very important.
Yes. All right. The soil, it's not all the same.
That's right.
I know that sounds basic, but I didn't know. I'm like, soil. You just stick it in. Why isn't it growing? In this area, the developers took off the first like 2 layers that were apparently very nutrient rich. And so everyone had this very heavy clay, which doesn't drain. And you could tell, because if you move into a new development and you take a garden hose and you just like put it on an area and it just sits there, it doesn't soak in, then you know you've got some clay.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to amend all this all at one time, but what I did do was that, and I don't have a lot of properties. I don't have a composter. So I do save the leaves in the autumn and put them in the raised beds. But what I did is that I simply bought like, cow manure, compost, from the different garden centers. And every time I planted a new perennial, I dug the hole and I worked that all in and I amended it, right? So we wouldn't get that drainage issue. And over time, the birds, the bees, the bugs, the worms, like take care of it. And now when I dig in the soil, I don't see that clay. Like it looks so much better. But it's 20 years here. Yeah, it was all clay.
20 years is a very short time for a garden.
Right. But it's, when you think about it, I mean, it really recovered so well.
Right.
So for every like new perennial, I would amend the soil as I went. And then for the raised beds, I did a garden test. I was really surprised at how alkaline it was.
Really? That does happen if there's a lot of compost or organic material tends to...
Yeah, it was too much. So I had to amend it the other way. But yeah, paying attention to your soil. You could buy soil test kits, or you could find your nearest Master Gardener's extension through the university program, wherever state you're in, and find out where you can send your soil. They'll do a test for you, and you can find out what you need to do to make it better for what you're growing. So I think that was a big one. And also, I used to be afraid to divide plants. It scared me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Scares me too, still to this day.
So when you pull out this peony, oh my gosh, they have to get divided or they will stop blooming.
Oh,
so I divided that, put one in the front. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill this thing. And you have to take a knife and you have to cut it. Like you feel like you're doing surgery.
Yes.
Right? But it was all okay, So things divide differently. I learned that irises, July, do those in July. Don't do it now. You kind of learn as you go. You learn as you go. So I guess it's the best advice. And it's fine to make some mistakes. There's so many resources.
Right. Yeah. My opinion, the best resource is doing it and failing. Because you can read about things online, but until you see and try and fail or succeed.
It's true. I mean, I was looking at your blog and I was at your house actually, and I saw how you train your tomatoes, and you have a single vine and it goes so tall, and that really works well for you. And I had a lot of strategies for tomatoes, and I'm sticking with this. I use a few earth boxes, and as I said, and I have supports for the ones that are in the big pots. It works out okay.
Yeah.
For us, it works out okay. And then the end of July, I usually get a lot of questions. Oh my God, look at my tomato plants. There's blight on the leaves. What do I do? I'm like, okay, at this time of the year, we are chasing the blight.
Yes.
Okay? You can't avoid it. You're going to have it. But you're still getting fruit. You're still producing. And as you go, you just take off those yellow leaves, take off whatever looks damaged or looks ill, and hopefully you'll still get enough fruit, But if you do nothing, the whole plant will die.
Right.
But you start chasing the blight. You just kind of learn that that's what nature does.
Right. Yeah, you can't, especially with very quickly growing plants like tomatoes, they're not going to look pretty. Forever.
Oh no, by August, they do not look pretty.
Look horrible, yeah.
No, they don't look so great. my cucumbers did really well. I learned that I planted too many last year. It was really funny. My daughter, she still left here a, you know, when you go to college and you have like the bunk beds and you get like a dorm, like a ladder for, she had one here. And I was like, I need that for my cucumbers because it went over this and I had to take like a ladder and like add that ladder. So you just, as I said, just, it was toward the end of the season. And it looked kind of crazy that we had this like dorm room ladder on in our garden, but it worked. Yep.
Well, you have, you know, you have a lot of pots, you have a lot of soil, you have a lot of trellises, you have, you know, you have this nice gravel pathway, and there's a lot that you've accumulated over the years. But some things, like for me, I use compost every year, and it's probably going to be the biggest input into my garden. What's the biggest input for you?
Mulch, probably.
Mulch, interesting.
Yep. As you see, my vegetable beds are not mulched. I have a drip on those two, and we'll water. And we do mulch this every spring. Like, that is the most important because, as I said, I don't water down here, the second tier. So you need to be able to retain that moisture. It's good to have mulch. And then you also learn, like I was getting rust spot on the hollyhocks, and it makes the leaves turn this rust color with these little spots, and they shrivel and die. And it turned out it was from the mulch I was using. Cedar mulch was causing that on the hollyhocks. Who knew?
Wow.
I didn't put it together. It took me a few years.
How could you?
How could you? Because I just randomly changed the mulch one year and it didn't happen.
Wow.
And I went, oh. And then I asked someone and they go, yeah, didn't you know that? Cedar mulch cause rust. I'm like, no, didn't know that. So it's different. You just learn, you never stop learning. I mean, I've talked to the master gardeners who are really like up in years. They're master gardeners for 40 years and they're constantly learning and taking continuing ed. There's so much to learn. It's a huge world and so many species. One of the things I did a deep dive into this year was, I'm sure this is going to be very interesting to you, weed identification.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I used to just go through the garden and go, who's this jerk? And just pull it out.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, what are you called? So a weed is really not a weed. A weed is simply something that's growing in an area where you don't want it.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Oh, I let one of my cilantro plants flower, and now I have cilantro as a weed.
Really? What's the flower look like?
They're like little yellow flowers. They're really not super impressive, but each plant probably puts off hundreds of seeds.
Wow.
And they're little, very durable capsules.
So does dill.
Yes, I have
we love dill because I love making like dill mayo. I like making like things with dill. So I do save that. We use it. We absolutely use it. But the mulch was very important and the weed identification was important because you need to know how to properly eradicate what kind of weed. So there's a lot of thistle here. There will always be thistle because we have the yellow finches and they eat what? The thistle seed, and they will poop it around everywhere and you will have thistle. Well, I kept pulling and pulling. Well, if you leave this much root, you pick one to come. So the best strategy I found now is just snipping it at the very bottom, letting that root be there. It helps the soil. Let it be. If it comes back, snip it to the bottom, like tire out the root system. Don't let it photosynthesize. And same for the mugwort. Had a lot of mugwort. So I learned a lot about the weeds and how to eradicate them, how to live with them, which ones should bother me, which ones shouldn't. I will pull out the poison ivy. I'm not allergic to it, but my neighbor is, and his dog comes up. And if his dog brushes against the poison ivy and then brushes against my neighbor's leg when he's wearing shorts, he gets infected really badly.
Wow.
So I always pull it when I see it.
Well, last question for you. Maybe two questions.
Okay.
Okay. What
This feels good. Finally, the sun is out.
I know. right at the end.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for somebody feeling overwhelmed at the idea of starting a garden just from total scratch, like where you were 20 years ago when you started this?
I started really small, Maddie. You know, really small. I'm telling you, my husband was at a conference. I'm not kidding you. I came out with a hand shovel
Wow.
and started digging up the lawn. And I got from that step till about there
Wow.
with a hand shovel. Okay, he was gone for a few days. And he came home and he said, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I made a path." He said, "A path to what?" I said, "It's going to be something. It's going to be a garden. We're going to do it." And every day I would come out and I would dig that path and just slowly, I mean, I have photos where you see like, there's nothing here. I planted this and some daylily, just a little bit. You know, I wouldn't advise going to the garden center and loading your cart with a million things. I would go really low and slow. You want to start a vegetable garden? Do the Victory Garden. Get a 2x3. You'd be surprised what you can grow in 2x3.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably grow a pepper plant, a tomato plant, and several herbs, right?
Absolutely.
You can, and you know, take care of that. And then you feel like you can do that, set up another one. Trade with some friends, grow some. But yeah, I mean, I know it seems like a lot, but this didn't happen overnight. This was really, it was slow. I didn't have that tree. I said, I'm going to put a tree and a bench. We'll have some shade. It was just seeing how it might look in the future. I used to not be able to grow any plants over there that required shade. That was full sun garden right here.
Wow.
Full sun. And now I can plant hostas and, you know, my snapdragons will thrive because it has some shade.
Yeah. Wow.
And, but that's because a bird planted the seed of this red bud by itself. And as you can see, I didn't take the course by then. I would have trimmed the tree better.
Oh.
I let it grow. It has too many leaders.
Yep.
Right? I should have cut that one off. Maybe nature will do it for me. But now it has all these birds' nests in it, and it provides shade for the backyard. I mean, it's delightful.
Yeah.
So
It's designed.
and nice for starting a garden is just, you just go slow and, you know, plant what you love.
We love to look at. We love to eat.
Right.
Will you love to see, be attracted to it?
Right.
If you like bees, birds, figure out what they like and plant
Absolutely.
that. All right. Well, are you doing anything in terms of, you know, adding or?
Well, one of the things that I've been doing, I'm trying not to add, except the edible area. See, for me, you and I are like swapping places. I think in a few years you're going to have an unbelievable flower garden. I'm really just getting into the edibles.
Okay.
You know, and I want to try my hand at melons. I really want to do that. So I'm probably going to add another raised bed on the side. I'm scaling back the work here. As I mentioned earlier, swapping out a lot of the non-native plants that might be seen as invasive. We have a lot of vinca vine still growing in here, and putting in more native plants. So it becomes a little less amount of maintenance that I have to do. So that's what I'm planning for these tiers. And then as I grow older, just kind of concern myself with the perimeter of the house, right? Because it's a lot.
Yes, it really is.
It's a lot. So last year, I have to remind myself not to do it this year. Last year, I went on a bike trip for vacation. We did 160 miles overseas. We come home and I go, oh my gosh, the garden is like, it's a forest. And I do a marathon weekend. I'm going to throw my back out. I don't know if you remember that. I was like, I was walking like an old lady. After all of that, sitting on airplanes for hours, riding my bike, walking through Europe, gardening, I threw my back out because it was 5 or 6 hours of this motion. So it was hard for me to think, oh, I can't do that anymore, right? I shouldn't do that anymore. So now I know that I do an hour, take a little rest, do something else, come back out. So no more gardening marathons.
Mm-hmm. I've actually had to start doing gardener weightlifting routines, including a lot of deadlifts a lot of rows.
That's probably a good idea for me to do.
A lot of squats, because you know, I am in my early 30s, and I am starting to experience gardener knees and back and neck problems.
Yeah, well, for me, it was mostly my back. Now, I used to buy my mulch from these really adorable Cub Scouts. They would come to the door and ask if we wanted to buy mulch, and they were so happy because I'm like, sure, I'll take 50 bags, right?
Wow.
And I buy the 50 bags, and they were like 40 pounds each. And they said, do you want them delivered to the back? And I said, nope, leave them in the driveway, because that was my exercise. I picked it up, I put it on my shoulder. If I moved here, I was in my 30s. I was in my 40s. I picked it up, put it on my shoulder, and I walked back,
Wow.
a bag at a time. No way can I do that now, because I'm in my early 60s. So there's no way that I'm going to do that with the mulch. So now it gets delivered, and these guys come and they spread it, right? I still do all my own weeding and pruning and all of that.
Wow.
So you have to be careful, because you want to continue doing what you love. You don't want to overdo it. And there are a lot of things, like pots get really heavy. I put a few of the really big pots on the casters. Like, great, the gardening centers sell them. They have wheels on the bottom. So for the plants that I need to overwinter inside, I can just roll them in. Because I used to have to lift them up, and these are things that you could be sorry about later.
Yes, I will need to ask you about those later.
Yeah.
Yes, I just started a lemon tree, so I have to.
I have one inside, Myers lemon.
Yeah,
I bought a Myers,
yes.
and I bought a lime. Now, I had lime once. It did great, and I kept it under the deck right over here on the southeast corner. The best limes I've ever tasted. It succumbed to some weird disease. It caught this fungus, and I couldn't get, it was 2 bags. I had it for 3 years.
Oh.
So now we begin again.
Yes.
And she said I could keep it inside. I will bring it out for the summer, but you should be able to keep it inside in the winter. It will go pretty much dormant.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to tell people where they can watch your music?
Oh,
and
sure.
participate, and any other
Thank
sort
you.
of
So
announcements?
as I said, my music is very much inspired by my gardening. I have an album called Dreaming of Summer, which is music for the gardener's heart. So I'm a solo pianist, and I do play somewhat in ensembles. And you can check out my music at robinspielberg.com. And make sure you spell Spielberg, Spielberg. You can find me on Spotify and all the streaming services. And I live stream on occasion from my home Steinway on a Friday night. Next one will be in June, but you can see all that on my website.
Awesome.
And
well, thank you for doing
thank
this
you
interview.
for inviting me to be on your blog. I'm excited because I love your blog.
Thank you.
It's really shaping up so beautifully.